Hey guys, today we'll be doing the L1 practice test that should take about 20 minutes on AutoCAD. I've got this PDF pulled up that I'll be referencing throughout the drawing for any dimensions I need or any of that. So typically I'll start off with drawing the property lines. And to do this, you'll do L for line and you'll click a point, and then you'll hit at, and then however long it is for this 280.5 feet, less than, and then you'll do the meets and bounds, so north 88D 1700 west. And now I'll just continue that process as I draw the rest of the lines. Alright, now that we've got the property lines in, we'll put them on the property line layer. And then we'll run LP to get the meets and bounds, and BricsCAD puts them in crooked, so I'll have to straighten them out. You can set your UCS to it, copy, and then set your UCS to the property line and paste, and it'll put it in straight. Alright, now that those in, we'll put the property pins. Typically we just do a circle of a 2-foot radius, but that'll change depending on the scale you're in. I'm just going to copy those around. So to put these all on the right layer, I'll just select one of each and do select similar. Now that they're all selected, they go on the meets and bounds layer. CS and 1. And now, normally we'll have our road already drawn in, but for this exercise, we just have it 15 feet from the property line with a 30-foot drive aisle. And this will go on the asphalt layer. Now I like to put in the building setback line and the landscape strip before I start drafting. And in this site, we have a 10-foot landscape strip all the way around. So I'll offset all the property lines 10 feet. And connect them with a fillet with a radius of 0. And this just connects and trims them, which is very nice. And then I'll put these on the landscape strip layer. And now we have a 20-foot building setback line all the way around. So I'll offset the property line 20 feet. And connect them using the same process. And put these on the building setback layer. And now we use these blocks down here to show our strips. So I'll copy them with UCS World, and then I'll come to our property line and paste, and this just lines them up. This, double click into it, put 10 feet. Apply. And for our building setback, we have a 20-foot. Click apply and then OK. And then I'll copy these all the way around. Alright, now our labels are in, we'll start wireframing. And our primary constraint is going to be this 10-foot landscape strip on the south end, and our secondary is going to be the one on the east. So I like to offset these 1 foot just to make sure that I'm not pushing into them. And I'll put these on the 0 layer just so I don't get confused. And based on our dimensions, we are going to have a 43-foot drive aisle. So I'll offset 43 feet, 20 feet for parking, 9.5 for sidewalk, 67 for building, 13.5 for sidewalk, and 20 for drive aisle. And then from our east constraint, we're going to have 20 feet of parking, 24-foot drive aisle, 20 feet for more parking, 10 foot for sidewalk, 75 feet for building, 15 feet for more sidewalk, and 20 foot for drive aisle. Now this saves all this room over here for our detention pond. Alright, now that we've got our wireframe up, I like to put the building in just so I can keep a reference point. And to do that, I just put a rectangle inside where we've got, and we'll put this on the CA site building layer. Sorry, wrong. Put the rectangle on CA site building. And to show our buildings better, we like to offset 1 foot inside, set poly width to 1.5. There's our building. Now we can work on our parking. It says we've got a 10-foot island right here, so I'll offset this 10 feet. Now offset for parking, we also are doing 10 feet wide spots. So I do offset 10 and then M for multiple. And you can just click down. And then I'll select these spots and put them on the CS site stripe layer. So there's our parking stripes. Now I can trim, this is going to be our island. So that'll all be concrete. And then for our parking over here, we have a 5.5 foot offset from the back of curb. And then from here, I can put in our 10 feet wide spaces. And here you can run CG and click the stripe and it'll match the layer. Now we have a 20-foot radius on this island here. And then 4-foot radius there and there. Sorry, there. I can trim this away. And then we'll have a 5-foot radius on this parking island, just to round it off. And now we are going to join this all together. Join. And we'll put this on the site concrete layer. Now we need to work on this parking island, or this island. Oh, sorry, we have handicap spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this space is going to be a van parking space, 11 feet. We'll do 5 feet for the striping, and then just a normal 10-foot parking space. So now I can trim this and this. And now we'll do a 4-foot radius. And join these. Put this back on the right concrete layer. And then up here we have a radius of 15. So now we've got our concrete all the way around the building and our parking. To hatch this, we will join these. Put these back on this layer. Hatch. Make sure it's the right striping. Like this. All looks good. Pick new. Pick points in boundary, and you'll click inside the square. Okay, so we need to adjust the scale of this, which is easy. We'll probably do 15 spacing. Scale. Okay, we'll go back to the hatch. And now we'll need to do our parking along the right side of the drive aisle. So we have these lined up with these spaces here. So I'll offset 10 feet, multiple, and we'll go all the way up. Now we have a radius of 5 here. This is all going to be curb as well. So we'll put this on the same layer and join it. Now we're gonna have a 40-foot curve along this curve right here. Curve that in like that. Now we've got our 43-foot drive aisle, our 24-foot drive aisle here, and our parking. Now that's joined. And here I'm just using the 0 radius fillet. Now we're going to want to do a 25-foot radius connecting these curbs right here. So I like to just draw a circle, 25, and then just move that till they connect. And then I will use a 5-foot radius fillet to connect the rest of it, if it lets me. There we go. Now we've got our 25-foot curve with connected in. And up top, we're gonna have a dumpster up here. So we'll go down to our dumpster block. And we're using, looks like a single, copy this up here, copy it, UCS World, and paste UCS to the site. Now we can rotate this and it will be lined up. trim away our curb. Now the dumpster's in. We like to have, this looks a little off. That looks straighter. All right, now we've got our dumpster lined up. We like to have our concrete wrap around it. So I'll just do this and connect those with a 0-foot fillet. Now that that's all in, we can do a 5-foot there. All right, now we'll work on our entrance. It says we have a 38.5-foot entrance. So I'll offset this 38.5 feet and extend this all the way down to the road. I'll also extend this down to the road. Now the best way to connect to the road with a 20-foot radius is to fillet with no trim. So you have T and N. Trim there. It's there. And then you can just manually drag this back. Join and join. And now this is going to be a 5-foot radius. So you connect the entrance to the concrete. Sorry, we'll turn trim back on. So FR5TT. Put that back in the concrete, and now our concrete wraps all the way around with our parking included. Now we can delete all our extra lines. And now we'll run CC to add our curb and gutter. And now we need to dimension. So we'll use a lot of our standard blocks. First I'll do the drive aisle. And we'll start with the copy that, UCS to the property line, paste. All right, now we've got our two-way arrows. I can copy our single, rotate. Here I'm just holding shift to rotate with the UCS. And our two-way entrance. And now we'll put our parking space spots in these. Just copy here. And we can use the kick command to count the spaces. So here we have 9 spaces. Okay, now we've got our parking spaces in. We'll put our handicap logos. Just using the same UCS trick with the copy paste. Now we've got that in, we'll add some dimensions. Or we'll add the building. Proposed building. And this goes on the site Anno building layer. Site, CS, and 1 building. And now we'll add dimensions. So we have 75 foot long. And 67 feet high. Okay, and now for our dimensions, I copy this, UCS world, UCS parking, and this will go on the CS dimension layer, CS and 1 dim. It's very important when you're dimensioning that it goes to the front of curb right here. Feet. Alright, now we've got our dimensions in, put our no entry. Okay, now for the detention pond. We like to offset 5 feet from all landscape strips to start our pond. And we'll offset 5 feet from the back of curb. And it looks like we're using a 25-foot radius for the outside. And we offset, looks like 5 feet or 10 feet. And these will go on the CS and one note layer, and we like to use the hidden 4 for those. So there's our stormwater. All right, and that should be it. Thanks, guys.